It's Iowa Speedway. It's an oval, and it's the last oval course the drivers of the AdPro series will see before the playoffs. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Top Shelf Auto Detailing 200 here, live on the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes we have our director Joe Peak, and he's using camera sets made by Dougie Beard. Sean, we do still have two more races after tonight before the playoff begins, but those will both be at road courses. This is the last chance for these drivers to test their competitors on an oval course before the playoff begins, and they get to do it at one of the most popular and newer circuits.
Sam, they certainly do, and you know, they said if you build it, they will come, and come they did right here to Newton, Iowa. Yes, sir, right in the middle of a cornfield. 7/8 mile track. It's actually the only 7/8 mile track in NASCAR, 1.4 kilometers on the metric scale. Sam, they built it in 2006, 30 miles east of Des Moines. Now, of course, Rusty Wallace had a little bit of influence with detailing and designing this track, took Richmond as his inspiration. And, of course, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series has raced here and continues to race here, and so does the Nationwide Series. And Sam, let me tell you something about this track. It's a washboard. It's bumpy all the way around, and boy, you better have a kidney belt and you better have good dentures because you're going to need them here today. But the real way to get an idea of what it's like to get around Iowa Speedway is to hop on board the GSRC Chevrolet Camaro and take a ride around.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek. This is the GSRC Camaro, and this is Iowa Speedway. Iowa Speedway is a fun, a little 3/4 mile short track, and it gives the drivers and the fans a whole lot of fun from the stands and the driver's seat. For your hot lap, drive it right down here below that seam, hook that line. There's a big bump right there in the middle of the corner. Once you get over that, you can pretty easily get back into the gas, but not too hard, as you'll just get very squirrely off of the corner. Down into turn 3 once again. You're not going to try to find that yellow line, but you kind of run about a lane and a half above that. Straight off of the corner, down to the start-finish line. So as the run progresses, you're going to see guys all over this track. But a lot of them are going to run right here and try to split that seam because it's going to let you get a nicer exit off of the corner. Turns 3 and 4, you're going to be rim riding up here. Let it float into the corner. Try to ride that seam a little bit, let it hook through the middle, let the car rotate back into the gas, swing it out here by the wall, and that will complete a lap around the Iowa Speedway. That also concludes our track guide. I'm Brian Yazek. This was the GSRC Camaro at Iowa Speedway.
And we're back here for the Top Shelf Mobile Detailing 200 tonight. You know, they're Raleigh, North Carolina's most experienced auto detailing company for over 35 years. Top Shelf Mobile Detailing has been making rides look new again. Call Robert over at Top Shelf, 919-883-7497. Again, that's Robert at 919-883-7497. And Robert, thanks for putting your name on the race. We'll be happy to talk about you again here in a little bit.
Shows
Go ahead, Sam.
Shows you how square our camera guru Dougie Beard makes his cameras when the logo's covering the number 58's qualifying attempt here. Daniel Jackson just put it 14th. And Sean, he actually just turned our last lap in qualifying there, it looks like. This being a short track, qualifying is already done with.
Sam, they got it in pretty quick. And so we've got a few minutes to burn through and kind of talk about things. Why don't we go ahead and go to the championship points since we've got qualified settled here. We may have one or two more that comes out. We'll see here. But right now, as we look at the points, let's face it, not any change in any of the positions of the points since we were with you last. Gerald Campbell may have found the most playoff points, but the favorite going into the playoffs is still Gabe Wood. Wood leads in regular season points by 48 over Campbell and 53 points over Mark Clewell. Now, Josh Bonwell has moved from 69 points above the cut line to 116. So Bonwell's continued success is showing in the points here finally. Now, remember, you can still earn bonus points for winning races and stages, and that's very, very important here as we're closing in on these final rounds. We're in these final rounds. Now, remember also that drivers who score the most regular season points, they earn 15 points for the playoffs. So, you know what? Going back to what we're talking about there, that's really good for Gabe Wood. He's got himself in a great position to pick up even more points. So, Sam, even though there wasn't much activity in the points, there's still plenty to talk about there.
Yeah, well, three of the drivers you were talking about quite a lot right there, Sean. Gabe Wood, Mark Clewell, and Josh Bromwell. Can you name one thing they all have in common? Or I guess it's all that they don't have that makes them have something in common.
Win?
Yeah.
Maybe.
and if they don't consider themselves road course experts, and I got to admit, maybe they might, as we mentioned, this is the last time to get one of those magical W's before the playoff begins on an oval course here tonight. A lot of big names this season have been shut out of victory lane.
Yeah, you're right about that. A lot of big names. You know, I'm certainly surprised, and trust me, no one's more surprised than he is that Gerald hasn't picked one up yet. So, you know,
I think you mean Gabe. Gerald,
I'm sorry. Yeah, Gabe.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was getting my G-man. I was getting my G-man all mixed up there. But yeah, man, Gabe is thirsty for a win, and who knows? Maybe, you know, Iowa plays into his hands this evening. He's got a good, fast race cars. Got himself on the inside of road two. Not a bad place to start. But I think the biggest factor here at Iowa tonight is going to be for these drivers who spent a lot of time in the car this afternoon. Is this bumpy track surface that you've got? It's not incredibly hot. It's obviously under the stars here tonight. We can look at the weather real quick. It's only 65 degrees outside, mostly cloudy, and it's only 66 degrees on track right now. That's not your concern. The concern is finding the right line that keeps the car stable through the turns and doesn't scuff off your momentum. This is a momentum track, and you scuff any of it off, you're going to lose. I wasn't using the brake pedal. Honestly, I was gliding her in and on the power with that egg under my accelerator on the way out, Sam, and that seemed to be preferred for me. Was I fastest? No, but my car didn't have a scratch on it when I got done with practice, so that'll be something to watch.
With Sean taking one of those Xfinity cars out there for a spin a bit earlier on. Let's give you a bit more info about what these drivers are going to be faced with tonight. As we've well documented, it is round 14 of a 16-round regular season. Just 2 road course races after tonight separating these drivers from their 7-round playoffs. This is the AdPro Challenger Series. So they are using the 3 NASCAR XFINITY cars that iRacing has to offer, the Chevrolet, the Ford, and the Toyota. They're running fixed setups out there, but here's where stuff gets different. They're limited on the amount of tires they can take during the race. If they cause 2 incidents during the race, they will be disqualified. And if there's a caution in the last 4 or 5 laps, there could be a green-white checker to finish it all off. And we have seen that happen at a couple of rounds earlier this season. And we'll get in more details about that if that is the case again today. But we're going to have to wait a while to find out, Sean. 200 laps here is a long race.
It is, but I mean, you could tell by the lap times and by the length of that qualifying session, doesn't get you can get 3 laps in here in just over a minute. So let's see how they get sorted out. It's a big field as always. It's going to have probably about 18 to 20 cars. This, I'll say it again, is a bit of a bull ring. It's a wide bull ring though, and so you can definitely pick a few different lines around here. There are just very few lines that don't have all the bumps in them, and that'll be a big factor when guys are trying to make moves side by side. You want to give maybe a little bit of space in the turns here on this circuit, Sam. It does have variable banking. We didn't really say that in the track information, but or we should say progressive banking, 12 to 14 degrees. So again, it could provide for interesting racing today. But I am looking forward to seeing this field get it sorted out over 200 laps tonight. This should be a good one.
Now, you see in the top left corner of your screen, we have less than 5 minutes of qualifying left. However, there aren't any cars on track. They got all done early on in the session. It looks like our provisional pole sitter and ultimately our... I almost think that word provisional is questionable right now. It looks like Gerald Campbell is going to be our pole sitter, and he will be the round 14 winner of the Sim Speed Shop Pole Award. For every 2 poles, the driver earns $5, and the driver with the most poles at the end of the season earns $20, courtesy of simspeedshop.com, which is a great place to order custom button boxes, as well as to buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to simspeedshop.com. And Gerald Campbell got his $5 after the last round, where he got his second pole of the season. Now he's got his third pole, and I don't think anyone else has got 2. So he's after that $20, Sean.
He certainly is, Sam. And tell you what, that's $5, $5 more in the kitty for him for what is sure to be some payoff here at the end of the season, Sam. You know, I tell you what, Iowa Speedway, we've seen a lot of racing here recently. They had an Indy race here just a couple weeks ago, and tonight we get to watch the Xfinity cars here. One thing we know about this track is it's bad fast. I hope that doesn't mean that it'll be full of bad incidents. We talked about that a couple minutes ago. Listen, one thing the SSCA has done for us all season is put on some great racing, and I'm going to stick with that. I honestly think these guys are ready to give us a great one tonight. We had a good practice session, very spirited. In fact, we've got an opportunity here. Why don't we look at the race analysis now and go over the stages, Sam?
Yeah, and one thing that's very interesting to me about tonight's race here, Sean, is the final stage length. You see, our first stage is 50 laps, second stage is an additional 50 laps, and then third and final stage is 100 laps. That takes you to the finish line. Now, what has been traditional, or rather what has been the pattern for these guys throughout the season, is that stages 1 and 2 seem to be quite clean. And with the limited sets of tyres, only 5 tyres including the set you're starting on, that kind of makes strategy pretty cut and dry. You change a set of tyres at the end of stage 1, and you change a set of tyres at the end of stage 2. Well, now all of a sudden, you are on your third set of tyres. You have to make one stop on to the end normally to get to fuel. That gives you a 4th set of tyres. But then where the strategy has been coming in, Sean, is we tend to see the amount of incidents pick up in that final stage. And when that final stage begins, you've only got 2 sets of 4 tyres, really. With this bumpy track, you're going to want 4 tyres when you come in and get them. So, when do you come in and get them?
Good question. Honestly, I wanted tires after about 11, somewhere between 11 and 15 consecutive laps. You're good for fuel at about 65 to 70 laps here. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard some of the guys chattering about. But Sam, again, the tires are going to be a big deal here tonight. This is an aggressive surface on this track. It's bumpy. Your car is literally leaving the pavement at times and coming back down. There'll be a lot of scuffing going on, a lot of heat buildup in the tires. Sam, when do you take it in that last stint? I don't know. I guess it depends on how well you're able to keep up with the leaders. I think if you can keep up with the leaders, then you wait until the, maybe that last caution or those last 20 laps. But why don't we head to the grid, Sam?
Well, let's go and do that right now because the qualifying session is ending and soon we will start to see the cars get gridded up for 200 laps of racing action. Starting on the pole position, as we mentioned, the round 14 winner of the Sim Speed Shop Pole Award is Gerald Campbell. Lined up alongside him, Gary Sexton, who was also second fastest in practice. Gabe Wood has typically started up front all season long, hasn't always been able to finish there, unfortunately. He will be starting from third position. Lined up alongside him is Jeff Martin in the 15 machine. Josh Bonwell will be starting back in fifth place, along with a driver we're not too familiar with, but I believe his name has popped up a couple of times. It's Marty Ray back there in sixth. John Theodore will be starting seventh in the number 27, alongside Kyle Ellie, also another name I'm not entirely familiar with being in these AdPro Challenger cars. He will be rolling off from the outside of row number 4. Trey Galgan will be starting in 9th place alongside Michael Dillard, who rounds out the top 10 just a couple tenths of a second off of our pole sitter.
Sam, let's go back to row 6, and it's going to be Judd Danielson in the Dirty Air Xfinity car, and in 12th it'll be Mark Clewell, the number 65, starting there. Then we'll go back to row 7. Danny Rogers making an appearance this evening, number 22. He'll start 13th. 14th, going to go to Daniel Jackson, the Carolinian there, the number 58. Pretty good starting spot there on the outside. 15th for Will Davis in the number 11. 16th, going to go to Joseph Johnson. We'll call him Joe. He'll start on the outside there of row 8. And in row 9, it's going to be Adam Eisenhower, Buddy Ike in the field tonight. Scott Seaman will start 18th in the number 99. And our last row going to be occupied by Ken Richardson in 19th, and Jeremy Crandall in the number 73 will start 20th. Sam, we got 20 to get started here for 200 laps tonight. Let's do this.
Well, they've got 2 pace laps here because the track is less than a mile in length. Right as they rolled out a pit road, Sean, Gerald Campbell, our pole sitter, left. Didn't even leave it up for discussion. He cut right up to the top of the track. He says, I'm starting this race from the high side.
High, wide, and handsome to get things started for Gerald Campbell. No big surprise to me. Honestly, Sam, I think on the start, you're going to find out here that that high line probably going to be preferred. You do seem to kind of get the car a little bit too tight down there on the bottom in your entry. So starting from the high side here, going into 1, definitely I think going to be the smart move for Gerald Campbell.
So Campbell will be starting in the number 6 Ford on the high side. Gary Sexton, league organizer, will be starting in the number 13 Toyota down on the inside. Ford Mustang pace car leading them through turns 3 and 4 for the second of 2 pace laps. 20 cars parked at bumper to bumper for the final oval race of a regular season. Gerald Campbell about to bring him down. He'll soon have his foot matted on that loud pedal. For those about to race, we salute you. We are racing here at Iowa Speedway.
Ooh, going 3 wide, trying to make it 3 wide here through turns 1 and 2, Sam. A lot of cars scrambling to get a position and sort it out here.
High line worked very well for Gerald Campbell. Gary Sexton tried to get up as quickly as he could, almost triggered an incident between himself and Jeff Martin. You see, Gabe Wood, he qualified third. That's not good though, Sean. Normally you say, well, qualifying third, that's great, but look, he's stuck down there down low.
Yes, he is, Stan. Car struggling here early. It's Daniel Jackson backing up right now. Got a lot of angry competitors coming up on him here. He kind of got stuck to the outside, and now he's able to kind of drop in behind Clewell. Does keep it up on the high side of the track. Got to be careful up there. There's not a lot of grip, and that wall comes up very quick on exit.
Top 14, a single file. It's 15th on back, side by side. In fact, 3 wide with Daniel Jackson up high, Adam Eisenhower in the middle, and Scott Seaman down low. Even though these guys are at the tail end of the field, though, they're only about 3 seconds back of our race leader. Still early stages here, and this field, as it's proven in past races, very competitive.
Sam, the double deuce of Danny Rogers picking up a lot of spots here early, battling with Will Davis. They've got a good one going on. Will's picked up a few spots, finds himself up 4 already in the 11th. But Danny Rogers here off to a good start, trying to fend off Judd Danielson just behind him.
Well, this is where the problems start with these progressive back tracks, Sean. We see that everyone wants to be up high, but then how do you pass them? Well, the answer is you either use a bumper or you got to try and do the slide job down low, which is what we're seeing Will Davis try and do to Michael Dillon. Yeah,
and Clewell almost put the chrome more to Danielson just behind him, had to back out of it. That caused a bit of a backup behind him between Seaman and, oh boy, the Seaman almost contacted with Ken Richardson going to the turn. Ooh, that was close. Close call there.
Pretty much the entire field nose to tail. Really, the only driver who has broken away from the pack is Gerald Campbell, our race leader. Change going on for third place. Gabe Wood trying to slow it down underneath Jeff Martin, but unable to succeed.
Will Davis still here back in 11th, still trying to pick up spots. He's got Dullard and Ely right in front of him. Ely a little slow right now. He's mainly because Galgan's right in front of him. He keeps having to check up. But here comes Davis trying to plant his car in the middle of all this. And got Dullard on the bottom. He's going to try and get past Dullard on the top side here. He's going to get a lot of momentum.
It's a much different kind of racing, Sean, but you can almost compare the drivers who try and pass down low and fail to someone trying to get out of line at Daytona and Talladega and not being able to pull it off, and all of a sudden they're kind of out there hung out in no man's land and got nowhere to go but backwards.
Well, man, this little pack right here, led by Theodore, intense, boy, man. Galgan almost contact from behind by Ely. I don't know, we've got Eli or Ely. I know a guitarist named Joe Ely, but maybe it's Eli. So,
unfortunately, I can't think of any precedents for that name, which is normally well, you've gone with a lot of drivers in this series. We've got Gerald's Ford up there leading the race. Jackson running back in 19th place, Eisenhower in 17th. Adam Eisenhower not off to as great of a start as what we've seen in past rounds, but still a long ways to go.
And Davis still back here pushing. Been side by side for about 3, almost 4 laps now. Now, this could be controversial, but does Davis count as a president? He's president of the Confederacy.
You're the American one. It does make you wonder whether we should name the driver of a 27 car John Teddy.
Yeah. You might be up for that. We'll have to ask. Boy, and Sexton and Wood are going at it here. Sam? I almost hit a little bit of contact there even.
Yeah, well, Gabe Wood we saw trying to make a move on Jeff Martin early on down low. Remember, Wood dropped from 3rd to 4th at the start due to starting down low, where he was able to fight and get that spot back. Obviously, he's not happy with just running in 3rd right now. He wants to get 2nd from Gary Sexton, but as we've seen with all these battles towards the tail end of the field, it's not easy.
Martin here really scouting an opportunity. He's getting the run, but it seems to fizzle out when they get down the straightaway just a little bit. That could be a little bit of dirty air also, trying to fight the push there, getting out of the turn. Battle for 10th.
Yeah, Jeff Martin, even though he's a regular driver in this series, isn't competing for points. Now, a couple of drivers back here are. Will Davis already has a win to his name this season, but would like another one. And Kyle Ellie really got out of a groove there. Now, that's one way to make a pass.
Wow.
I wonder if we'll see more of this, Sean, as those tyres begin to wear. Seeing drivers like Kyle driving that number 7 car just get out the groove a little bit.
Yeah, well, you get in a little too hot, carry a little bit too much speed, the car is going to travel up the track, Sam, just like it did there. And I think we will see that as the race continues on and these tires continue to go off. It's going to get worse.
And meanwhile, Gabe Wood has made his way up into second by Gary Sexton. The problem is he's already a second back of Gerald Campbell. What does he have for Campbell? We'll have to keep an eye on that interval up front. He was about half a tenth faster than him last time by. As they come across the line, this time by is a tenth slower, but that's because he was making a pass. A lot of side-by-side racing going on in the middle of the field right now. 3 wide. Danny Rogers in the middle of a 3 wide down the back straight.
I got to be honest with you, I'm impressed with Rogers so far. He's been pretty fearless. Look at the run off the middle of the groove there. He's able to scream across the start-finish line in front of Clewell. And Davis still keeps poking his nose in there.
It's Davis up high, Clewell down low. Rogers trying to break away from them and catch the 27 of John Theodore in front of them both. Clewell really threw it in the turns 3 and 4. Almost got into the rear quarter panel of Rogers there. We're quickly approaching the halfway point of first stage. The lap times so far, Sean, have only fallen a tenth, if that, off of what they were running at the start of a race.
Yeah, Campbell certainly holding very good pace. Not much of a fall off for him throughout this run, as we're starting to get pretty, what I consider deep into it. I mean, we're halfway, we're hitting this halfway point of the first stage now, Sam, and things looking pretty good. Boy, Gary Sexton with a big mistake there. He falls in a couple spots. Why don't we see the replay of that, Sam?
Yeah, we'll get a replay of that. You'll see Jeff Martin make a move, and I apologize, they are not just a tenth of a second off of their fastest laps. They're 1 second and a tenth. I was looking at the wrong digit there. That seems a bit more accurate given what we thought these tires would do. And you get to see the effects of that now here on the replay, where a mistake can cost you a lot of time and positions.
Yeah, here's the replay now. Sexton getting up into that dirty stuff up there, and maybe a little pressure, a little help there. Oh, and Sam, we've been hit with the caution. The caution's out, and who was it?
It was Kyle Ellie. Yep, he got turned heading into turn 1 by Scott Seaman, and then when he came back down, he collected Judd Danielson. Minor contact, but it does put us under our first yellow of the day.
You know, and it was Ely that looked to actually have a little bit of trouble there initially. Car got a little out of shape, and honestly, well, the momentum of the car behind caught him, obviously, and that's what got him out of shape. He's going to have some left front damage on that Camaro, and that could be an issue here.
Yeah, well, Ely had just completed the pass on Seaman, and I just don't think he was as clear as no, Seaman kind of just came in underneath and got into his rear fender. But anyway, back live, because pit road, none of the leaders coming in, but a couple of drivers at the back. We get another angle there from Judd Danielson's 17 machine. He's came in the pits, one of the drivers trying to get repaired. Should be a quick yellow here, Sean. All of the drivers are on the lead lap, and all will restart on the lead lap. Minor damage, really, to these drivers who have came down into the pits.
Yeah, this is a chance for the field, I think, to just get a breath after 26 blinding laps here. Now we've got ourselves a sprint race here, obviously, to the end of the stage, and should be fun. The guys have really done a good job of managing the track. Sam, I don't really consider almost a second fall off in just over 20 laps. I don't consider it to be as big a margin as maybe one might think it is. That's not bad. Again, this is a very, very aggressive surface. For some, it could be even more extreme. Got a great field here, a lot of experienced drivers, so they've managed it well, and they've continued to keep the speeds at a pretty good clip here throughout the first part of this first stage.
Yeah, Judd Danielson has gone the lap down trying to get repairs to his number 17 machine. It seems that he has came off worst in this incident, while the rest are able to stay out in the lead lap. The good news for Danielson is if all the rest are able to continue and he only goes one lap down, he will get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap when stage 1 finishes in 20 laps time. Problem is, I'm not sure that 17 car will stay just one lap down. Hopefully the pace car doesn't put him 2 laps down here. Either way, field is getting double file for the restart, and it looks like Gerald Campbell might be restarting down low this time.
That is interesting that he's opted this time to start on the bottom side. Maybe just going to try a little something different here. Give the field a different look and try and keep them on their toes, because they're all behind him right now. For the second time in a row, we get restarted.
But Gabe Wood has got to be looking at this as an opportunity to try and take a lead if he can stay alongside that number 6 car heading through turns 1 and 2. Well, we're about to find out. They're coming around to complete lap 30. 20 laps until the end of the stage. If they stay green, that'll be over in about 6 or 7 minutes. Can Campbell keep it up in front? Or will Wood beat him through the first couple of turns? Well, Campbell gets a nice restart. He's not going to give Wood an opportunity to try and challenge him.
No, sir. He got off to a great start. Oh, in trouble there for the 15. Oh, really out of shape as he got right up into Sexton's door. Jeff Martin struggling off the start of this race.
Saw Danielson rolling back out of pit road, but multiple laps down now. Campbell leading. Wood, Sexton into the wall goes Marty Ray, challenging for 4th place.
Leewell back here trying to make it 3 wide. He continues down around the bottom of this track. The 65. Oh, and the 22 is out of shape. He saves it. So, no, he doesn't. Oh.
That's Ken Richardson in the 16 who spins around, grazes the wall. Adam Eisenhower got a piece of that too.
Yeah, I'm afraid Kyle Eli gets into it also. But I really think that started with the 22 there, Danny Rogers. That car started to get a little loose coming off the turn. Maybe had a little bit of help from Davis. And he's just not able to recover. Gets a piece of Eisenhower. Eisenhower hard into the wall there. Ouch. That might end Eisenhower's race. Kyle Eli, of course, catches it late. We're going to go on board Crandall here. Sam, this isn't going to be any fun. Not going to be any fun. It's going to be fun to watch because he's going to thread the needle here.
It's fun once you get to the other side of it, right? And we know Eisenhower in front of him didn't. Actually, may have been helped a little bit by Crandall there. And once again, pit road is open, and a lot of the drivers involved in that incident coming down for repairs.
That's a shame. Get 5 cars having to come down pit road as a result of that. Yeah, that's 2. We've picked up 2 cautions here in the first stage, and we were off to a great start too. We've gotten those 25 clean laps of racing in, and I feel bad for I feel bad for the 22 Danny Rogers there. He almost got that car back into shape there, Sam, and maybe just an ever so slight turn of the wheel there at the end got the car all the way around and into contact. That was the big ender, obviously.
Now, this league, if it determines that you're the driver who caused the incident that brought the caution out, they send you to the tail end of a field for the restart. Under the first caution, they did that for Scott Seaman, who got in too deep into turn 1 and turned Eli. Apologies if that is a mispronunciation. In the first corner, bringing out the first yellow. This time it's going to Will Davis. Will Davis will be sent to the tail end of the field for this restart. I noticed, Sean, the number 27, John Theodore's car has been blinking a little bit under this caution. Obviously, that's a sign of a connection issue. However, a lot of the times when you only see that during the caution flag, it's just because all the cars are bunched together. It makes it a bit more difficult for iRacing. Once we go back to green, hopefully that should clear up for him.
Yes, you would hope it does clear up. Certainly not a good situation to run near or around somebody that might be having trouble with their connection, Sam. Sometimes they'll disappear, and they'll disappear maybe for a second or a half a second, and you don't really know where they're going to wind up back on track. The best thing you can hope for when somebody is blinking and having an intermittent internet problem is the best thing you could hope for is that they're a consistent driver, and you've been behind them long enough that you know where their line is, and what you do to protect yourself, not necessarily back off, but stay in that same line. Don't bad opportunity to maybe try and make a pass or do something you wouldn't normally do as that driver most certainly going to probably appear back on track right in front of you again. So Theodore looks to have gotten it settled down. I hadn't seen him blink here that last lap around. I think we're in good shape to get restarted here now, Sam.
Ely and Rogers also being told to go to the tail end of the field for the restart for driving through too many pit stalls under this caution, but I'm sure they're just more concerned with trying to get as much damage as they can repaired to their machines as they can under these short yellows here. Speaking of short yellows, expect the lights to go off on the pace car this time around. They're complete in lap 36, and if lights go off, and they do, that means we will restart with 13 laps left to go in the stage. Once again, Campbell down low, Wood up high.
Yeah, I think he found a spot on the track that he's happy with here for these restarts.
Gary Sexton and Jeff Martin on row number 2. Marty Ray and Josh Bonwell on the 3rd row. In fact, all of those 6 started in the top 6. They've just rearranged themselves a little bit. Although I've got to confess, I will be surprised if by the end of 200 laps we haven't seen a different name work their way up into the top there. Because even though we've seen a couple of early cautions, all 20 cars still in the race, just 18 left on the lead lap. Eisenhower and Danielson have been in the pits for a while to get repairs. Campbell, once again, nice restart down low. And Gabe Wood holding tough on the high side. Maybe not enough to challenge Campbell, but it should be able to clear Sexton for second.
Might be the calmest restart we've had yet, Sam. I don't see anybody going 3 wide here on this restart. Everybody giving a little bit of space, starting to kind of go line to stern from nose to tail here. Oh, I take that back. The 99 moving quick. Here comes Seaman back up through the field. Boy, he put a move on Clewell and then took it to John Theodore. And now he's up to 8th.
This could be an indication of fresher tyres if he opted to take them. Get some stage points at the end of lap 50. Danny Rogers will have to serve a drive-through penalty for changing lanes before the start-finish line on the restart. And here we go, battle on for the lead. Not the way, not. I mean that's the only way you can try and make it happen is down low. And you mentioned Scott Seaman coming through the field. Sure, this has all the signs of new tires on that 99.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He took 4 in fuel, and I think he's willing to sacrifice that next stage right now. He's going to try and win this stage. He's going to do it with the new tires. Seaman started in 18th place, and he is just dropping the rest of the field right now. Those old tires, obviously a huge difference right now. Campbell seems to have settled in, though, found his pace again here. You know, those tires will fall off at about 3 to 4, maybe even about 5 or 6 laps with as hard as Seaman charged up through the field. Yeah, that car, Campbell could get back to him here.
Well, Campbell almost, if he didn't, he got very close. Got the wall coming out of turn 2 that time around. And Campbell, I think, is pretty much racing Wood on back. He knows he's not going to have anything for Seaman at the end here. And he also knows that even if he did, Seaman's on different strategies, so not worth fighting him. Honestly, Sean, I'm a little surprised Seaman's checked out as much as he has. He might want to think about saving a little bit of those tires. Hold that lead at about half a second.
I'm telling you, Sam, he keeps pushing that car as hard as he is right now. I honestly see him backing up to this field. Going forward, though, is Ken Richardson, another driver on a little bit different strategy here. He does have fresher tires on the car. He didn't take him on that last pit stop, but the 16 moving up here in a battle for second against Campbell.
So even though Campbell and Wood losing the amount of points they'll get for the playoffs here and also regular season points, they're not losing points relative to each other. Seaman and Richardson aren't exactly drivers they're worried about fighting in the championship right now. As long as Wood can see Campbell's rear bumper, he knows he's still in a good position. Although he'd prefer to get alongside him in these next 5 laps.
Sam, did you see that number 7 come into the picture again? Kyle Eli is pushing hard, trying to get back into the top 5 here. Sexton with trouble. Drops through the middle between him and Gabe Wood. Ooh, that was a close one. Gary hanging on back there.
Seen a couple of races this season where Gary has qualified a little better than he's been able to perform in the races. That being said, he still has a top 5 car here once you take the drivers who are on newer tyres out of the equation. So Sexton could still be looking at his potentially fighting for his first AdPro 360 Challenger win of the season. So the top 3 are now all 3 drivers on new tyres. And Seaman has a 1.5, well actually Ken Richardson just cut it down to a 1 second lead over Richardson. And they've both checked out over Eli. One lap left to go in the stage for the driver of a 99. Is he going to be able to hold on to this? So I think he will be, but Richardson has been running him down.
He has. He's cut it all the way down to half a second. It's going to be too much too late, though.
And Wood, Campbell, and Sexton go 3 wide for 4th. Seaman wins the stage. And the big loser is going to be Gary Sexton there, and Wood is in front of Campbell. So Gabe Wood makes a big move on lap number 50 to get him into the leader of the cars who are on old tyres, but 4th overall. Stage results are Seaman, Richardson, Eli, Wood, Campbell are the top 5. Sexton, Martin, Bonwell, Dullard, and Clowell round out your top 10.
Well, not a bad first stage. We got a couple cautions mixed in there, but it did mix up the strategy a little bit. It gives, you know, a couple of drivers haven't seen much time at the front here win a stage, and pretty entertaining there. Now Gabe Wood, though, Gerald Campbell, the boys, they're going to get to put fresh tires on the cars. And well, Sam, stage 2 and getting that started should be very exciting.
All right, everyone coming in, Seaman, Richardson, and Eli could be thinking about taking 4 fresh good years here, and trying to retain their track position and just have 1 less set of tyres at the end of a race. Or are they thinking about just 2 tires? Try and maybe say, no, it looks like they're taking 4.
Yeah, it's going to go with 4 here. I just think that makes sense here early to go with 4.
So Seaman will win the race off pit road, and he does have as newer tires as everyone else behind him. He just doesn't have as many of them left if the last stage of a race is a caution fest.
Boy, we sure hope it's not going to be. You know, again, I'm encouraged by the way the first stage started, and maybe that's the type of race we'll get back to in that third and final stage. Again, 100 laps, very, very long stage, Sam. That's a lot to manage over 100 laps on this track. You know, the guys with the great force feedback wheels, Sam, they will be fatigued in that third and final stint. I guarantee you. I've got a Logitech G27, and my force feedback turned up pretty well. I got to be honest. After about 25 to 35 laps, my forearms and my triceps started feeling it just a bit.
Looks like we may have an extra lap of caution here as the pace car's been in a couple of lap cars right behind him around. That's Adam Eisenhower trying to get a wave around. Actually, he's the only car trying to get a wave around there, so obviously he'll be hoping for quick caution. Well, let's go off at the end of this lap. Guesses they might.
Danielston just got his car out, Sam. He's still trying to get that damage repaired from earlier in this race. The front end damage is still heavy, but he's working on it. Lights are going to remain on for now, so I guess we're still getting everybody sorted out of here.
Yeah, my guess is they'll go off next time by. With the race leader being Scott Seaman, Ken Richardson in second place, Gerald Campbell in third, Gabe Wood fourth, Jeff Martin, Gary Sexton, Marty Ray, Mark Clewell, Trey Galgan, and Josh Bromwell were round up the top 10. Now remember, they're all on 4 fresh Goodyears. Seaman will have the advantage of fresh air, but which lane does he pick for this restart, Sean?
I'm going to go with the inside. I'm going to go with that inside line. Take the inside line here for the restart. I think what we learned from the previous 2 restarts, that just seems to be the fastest line, is down on the bottom right now that we got some heat in the track and some rubber down there. I could be wrong, but the lights are off, and, well, for the first time, not Ken Richardson, but the 99 of Scott Seaman is going to get to restart this race from the point.
Yeah, for the first time, Gerald Campbell is not going to restart this race from the point, although significantly, Gerald Campbell beating Gabe Wood out of a pit. Well, that sounds good, but it means he gets trapped down low and doesn't have control of the field for the first time this race. Could Gabe Wood beat Campbell out of turns 1 and 2, being in that second row back? Let's find out. Pace car is off. Seaman with control of the field. He's down low, gets a nice restart. Second place, Ken Richardson stays there. Third place is side by side. Campbell going to throw it in, but not going to be able to slide up. This could be playing out to Gabe Wood's favor.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with that start that Seaman got. He was able to get out there and keep it out there so far. Campbell struggling, really struggling on the restart here, already back to 4.
And Gabe Wood, he's made his way up into third. He's going to want to find a way by Ken Richardson as quickly as possible so that he can pull away from his championship rival, Gerald Campbell. Scott Seaman, meanwhile, not able to break away from Richardson. Let's not forget that Richardson was running Seaman down at the end of the first stage of the race. Maybe Richardson... Oh, yeah.
Sorry, big moment there, almost between Clewell and that was the 14. Sorry, I'm still trying to remember Marty's name, Marty Ray. That was awful close. In fact, Clewell... Oh, and Galgan! Galgan made contact. Galgan is off and into the wall. The yellow flag is not out. He made contact with Jeff Martin in the 15. Galgan nosed it into the concrete wall there on the inside. Sam, watch. Here's the replay.
Yeah, he stayed down below under the apron while he was wrecking, though, so iRacing didn't recognize him as being a threat to the competitors. Keeps the race green. Galgan gets going again, still on the lead lap, but he's lost a lot of time and got a lot of damage, and there you see what contributed to that incident. Jeff Martin is actually in the pits for some repairs himself.
I don't think he's in for repairs. He's coming in awful fast. Sam, I think Jeff Martin might be parking that car for the night. In fact, it does look like he may have stepped out of the seat.
Jeff Martin, our first retirement of the race. Until then, Judd Danielson had been running in 20th position. 3 laps down, and into the wall goes Dave Wood, and Ken Richardson spinning around. Gerald Campbell slamming off the inside wall, comes back up into Will Davis, comes back up. Multiple cars involved in this one. That triggered off in the battle for second place with Ken Richardson and Gabe Wood.
Well, unfortunately, Campbell's car comes back across the track. He just had no control of it, apparently, as a passenger here after he gets tipped. You'll see the contact there. And then Campbell's car is going to continue up the track. And, boy, the collection of cars involved there, that's going to hurt, Sam. That's going to hurt this entire field.
Yeah, the first one they slid up into was Will Davis.
Yeah, on board with Davis now. This is going to hurt, folks. And he just, I'm sure he saw it coming, but probably thought, well, the car is moving slow enough. I'll stay up here, and I'll miss him. Obviously, car not moving slow enough, and
so cars in the pits with damage include Josh Bonwell. The nose of his car is punctured in. John Theodore showing front right damage. Kyle Ellie, well, it's kind of hard to tell what damage is from this caution and what's from earlier. Joe Johnson has retired from the race. Actually, Craig Elgin also in the pits for repairs, but of course he's caught a lucky break there because his repairs are being done from his solo incident earlier on. He's able to stay on the lead lap thanks to this big incident we just saw on the back straight.
Well, if there was ever a big one at Iowa, Sam, that was the big one. Unfortunately, we haven't even hit the halfway point of the race. It's going to be a struggle for a lot of these drivers for the rest of the way with damage on their cars. This is going to be the attrition battle now that a lot of drivers are going to have to fight. Campbell did come on the radio and said that after he got hit and hit that inside wall, he really had no control over the car. He couldn't steer it at all when it came back up on the track. He just came back on the radio, let everybody know, and he's just reporting now that he's got too much damage to continue this race. And that is a tough break for Gerald Campbell.
Tough break for a lot of drivers. We're going to take a quick break here on the GSRC. We'll be back in just a couple of moments for the restart. Had a clean race for about 60 laps here at Iowa Speedway, and then the big one just struck, taking many cars, including Gerald Campbell, our pole sitter, who has had 3 wins this season out of a race. Gabe Wood, who got pretty hard into the wall pretty hard, still out there in 3rd place with the damage on his 00 machine. He's going to try and hold on to that car for the next 32 laps until the end of stage number 2. Just 12 cars being shown on the lead lap right now. Some of them not looking as good as others. But Scott Siemens' 99 machine looking good as he leads them back to the green.
Seaman with another good start, but here comes Gabe Wood. Gabe Wood down on the bottom of the track. Now he's having to deal with Sexton. Sexton, who's managed to get that car right and now gets back up into 2nd place here on the restart, Sam.
Yeah, Sexton was able to sneak on by that big incident we saw just a few laps ago. Remember, Seaman hadn't been up front all day long until he put those new tyres on. He has 1 set less of tyres than a lot of his top competitors, but he has track position right now, and the tyres that he is on are as fresh as anyone else's. It's not going to be easy for Sexton to get by him.
Boy, Seaman seems to have dialed in, but there's a big battle 3 wide just behind him. Dullard, Clewell, all in this mix, and oh, there's that 7 of Eli, still hanging in here. A couple of incidents, and he's still just as strong as he was when he started. It's Clewell that's got the edge now, though. He's able to break away from the pack there. Again, they were 3 wide just a little over a lap ago.
I don't think Eli has been to blame for a single one of the incidents tonight, but I feel that he's been in every single one of them, and yet here that 7 car is still holding its own in that top 10.
I wonder when he'll run out of those 9 lives he started with, Sam.
Sexton looking for the lead in the 13 machine. He throws it down low, trying to make a slide job work on the 99. Not able to do it. Seaman able to use the momentum that the high line provides at this circuit to hold on to the top spot for now. But for how much longer?
Man, Gary thought about it for just a moment. He said, no, I better not do it right here. It might not end well. And lessons learned. Oh, and Sexton into the wall, scuffs it just a bit. Gabe Wood just back there playing it careful.
Yeah, Sexton is trying to make his car look like the other cars out there on the track. Trying to make it fit in. It must be said, even Seaman, our race leader, is not without damage.
Yeah, I think if you manage to get out of this race without a scratch on the car, you get a cookie, Sam.
What kind of cookie? Hold on, Sexton taking the lead here.
Raisin. Yeah.
I don't mind oatmeal raisin. It doesn't work again.
Nope, Seaman able to hang on to it. You know, we were just talking about cars that still look clean. I'm going to be honest, Marty Ray has had a great race here so far, Sam. That Ford Mustang with the Ford EcoBoost livery on it there actually looks pretty darn spiffy.
I can't imagine that races like these, you want to spend a heck of a lot of money on a good paint job. And Sexton, once again, another good run, another good dive, but can he complete it? Nah, nearly. But ultimately, no.
Not everybody disagrees with our choice of the oatmeal raisin cookie, Sam. But I knew we would get that. I knew we'd get it. Sexton still digging down there. Has he got enough of it? No. Seaman still with a lot of momentum there up on the top side.
The problem is every time that Sexton is doing this and not succeeding, he's just burning off his tyres, which could hurt him in the last 20 laps of this stage.
Yeah.
Case in point, Wood is now up into second place. This is going to be a bit nerve-wracking for Scott Seaman. He knows he has one of the most determined drivers in the league behind him. Double 9 leading the 00. Less than 19 laps left to go here. Sexton fading back a bit in third place. He could be challenged for fourth by Marty Ray.
You know, I was just watching Gabe Wood and his continued assault on Scott Seaman. He needs to be a little careful. He's digging hard, and I think he's gotten his tires a little bit angry. The right rear looks a little bit hot, a little bit loose right now. He takes a little bit of a different approach right here. But again, it's Scott Seaman that continues to look to really have good momentum in the higher groove on the track. It's certainly helping him exit.
Well, if anything, we're seeing that Gabe Wood's car can still hand towards the front, if not even take a lead of this race, despite getting in the wall pretty hard. Top 9 cars in this race covered by about 3 seconds. You have to drop off a few seconds before you get to Galgan, Theodore and Eisenhower. They're the last 3 cars currently running on the lead lap, and all 3 of them sustained damage early on. Wood is looking for the lead as they go down into turn number 3. It's not going to work, but he's going to try. Oh, it's really not going to work.
No, it's not, and Sexton's going to take advantage of that. And man, here comes Dullard in the 31. He's been back there poking his nose in this whole time, quietly moving up through the field as we get into the ending laps of the stage here, Sam.
And Seaman continues to lead. Shows you just how hard it is to pass, how competitive this field is, and how valuable track position is, Sean, that Seaman has been able to hold on to the lead this entire stage, despite qualifying 18th. And that's not, he didn't really attempt qualifying time. He did. He just qualified 18th.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe we're a little misled by that qualifying there, because Seaman seems to have, ever since he made that early strategy call, seems to have been the car to beat. Obviously, with Gerald Campbell now effectively out of this race. But, yeah, man, Seaman is again, having a really good run. I am watching closely, though, how Gabe Wood's responding here. I just think that set is going away from him right now, and he is really under threat from Dullard, who's pulled it up on the inside. Here comes the 31. They're in a dead heat off the turn.
Well, there's 2 ways of thinking from Gabe Wood here, Sean. Firstly, he's got to think that Gerald Campbell, the driver, he's kind of fighting for the lead in regular season points for those 15 bonus points heading into the playoffs. Well, with Campbell out of the race, this is a great points opportunity day for Wood. Maybe he doesn't have to win it. But the other philosophy he could be thinking is, hey, with the guy who's taken 3 of my potential wins away from me this season gone, well, man, I could win this race.
Yeah, if I'm Gabe Wood, I almost feel like I have to win this race. Now we got to battle for the lead.
Sexton also looking for his first challenger win of the year. Big contact there. They're going 3 wide. Michael Dillard going to take full advantage of that.
Look at Dullard continue to ride that bottom line, Sam. He is really making that Camaro work down low.
And after fighting the stay up front for so long, Seaman goes from first to maybe even back to fourth, just like that. And though he's going to fight for third, no, he's cooking it. I think Seaman's tires are gone.
They are sliding all over the place, man. I think everybody's tires are gone at this point.
Look at the wall.
Yeah, Dullard fighting it also. Sexton now battling with Wood.
So Sexton leads on the high side. Wood down low. Third place is between Seaman and Dullard. Seaman really struggling to get his tires under him. He's down there on the low side where you don't want to be. Wood is still down there on the low side where you don't want to be, but he's looking for the lead where he wants to be. He's got a 5.5 lap fight left in front of him to try and take it from Sexton.
Wow.
Temporarily he gets it. Wood does a crossover. Sorry, Sexton does a crossover.
Yeah. And watch out, here comes Dullard again. Sam, you don't like that bottom side of the track, but he does. That's where he's made up all of his ground, is down on the yellow line. And he's going to move up to the middle of the track right now, but again, I think Dullard is a serious threat here to win his stage.
Whoa!
Sexton gets loose. Sexton, no, hang on to it, buddy.
He didn't get loose, Sean. He was trying to throw a block on Wood and then realized it was never going to work. Okay,
you can call it a block. I'm going to be nice as they got loose. Sam, traffic in front of these guys now. Adam Eisenhower in the middle of the track. We've got, 4 laps to go here at the line.
And Eisenhower, despite a couple of hard knocks early on, he's still on the lead lap. He might not want to let these guys by, even though he'll for sure get the lucky dog if he goes lap down. Sexton, fake to the right, dives it in down low, trying to take a lead from Wood. Top 4, throw a blanket over them.
This is fun, Sam. And where did Mark Cleewell come from? Cleewell's all of a sudden in this battle. Where did Mark Cleewell come from? All of a sudden, Cleewell out of nowhere is in the top 3, battling for second place, maybe for the win of this stage. When they hit the stripe, it'll be 2 to go, Sam.
2 laps left to go. Wood has it. Cleewell up to second. Sexton back to third. Dullard fourth. Ray fifth. Seaman has faded all the way back to sixth, but that looks like that's where the bleeding will stop. Wood up high. Cleewell, if he's going to win the stage, he's going to have to do it down low with Eisenhower down there. Isn't going to help him. Eisenhower's damaged motor. He's not able to get as fast down the front straight, and the field blasts by on the high side. Whoa. This helps Wood out a little bit temporarily, but not anymore.
Did you see that move Mark Cleewell made in threading the needle there in between Sexton and Campbell? And look who's going to try and win this stage. Mark Cleewell from out of nowhere, Sam, is going to come across the line and win stage 2. Cleewell with the big win. Or the
Cleewell, Wood, Sexton, Dullard, Ray, Seaman, Eli Crandall, Jackson, and Galgan. That is your top 10. 11 cars left on the lead lap. Eisenhower will get the wave around. And man, even with half a field gone, if we continue to see racing like that for this final stage about to come up for these next 100 laps, this is going to be a fun show.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, you definitely caught us at the right time here in the Top Shelf Mobile Detailing 200 tonight from beautiful Iowa Speedway under the lights tonight, which means, Sam, we get a checkered flag. I think our director will probably find the fireworks for us. And boy, who doesn't love a good fireworks show?
Well, some dogs don't, but fortunately, I don't think iRacing has virtual
Thanks for bringing
dogs.
the room down.
Yeah, I don't think iRacing has virtual dogs in the infield. What it does have in the infield is the pit crews getting ready to work on these cars. Mark Cleewell bringing them down.
This is an important stop. Every stop is important, but You want to get it right here. Try not to lose any position here in the pits. Start off that last, final, third stage on a good note, Sam. And here comes the race off of pit road. Seaman already out of his box. He's rolling.
Yeah, Clewell far ahead of him, though. Clewell gonna beat Sexton out just. Then it'll be Dillard, Seaman, Ray, Crandall, and Wood in his pit box, still getting extensive repairs to that 00 machine. Make sure he is ready to fight for the final stage. Well, lap cars still need to pit. We're going to get them re-racked, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back in just a few moments on the GSRC. "94 laps left to go in the top shelf auto detailing 200 here at Iowa Speedway. Mark Clewell, after coming out of nowhere at the end of the second stage, won the race off pit road. He's about to lead the field back to green on the low side for, as we mentioned, the last 94 laps. Gary Sexton, league organizer, racing very aggressively up front here, but cleanly too. He's restarting up high, but Clewell gets a nice jump over Sexton. Sexton should hold down second ahead of Dullard. What about Seaman? Can he get back up into third?
He's trying, going to battle it out with Dullard here. And again, Seaman's car just seems to be really, really strong off exit. Clewell with a big mistake, though. Gets in a little hot, Sam. Runs it up the track.
Yeah, how did Clewell fall that far back of Sexton that quickly? Sexton really on it on the restart here. Maybe this is... Oh, no, Clewell in the water.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Sean, maybe this is his strategy, is once again back off and maybe try and make up spots in the long run. Looked like a good strategy until he drove it in the wall. I don't think that's good for any strategy.
And I think the bumps were a big factor in getting into the wall. That car was really upset. He had hit the bumps just right there. It was bouncing all over the place, and now he's dropped all the way back to 7th place. Up front, we got a battle though, man. Dullard going at it here with with Gary Seaman. Scott Seaman. Man, I'm getting everybody all mixed up. Sam, take it away.
Gary Sexton is leading the race. And just have a listen though to the names right behind him. Michael Dullard started in 10th place. Scott Seaman started in 18th. Marty Ray, relatively new name, at least as far as I'm concerned, to this series, running in 4th position. Craig Elgin smashed the inside wall early and didn't get caution for it. He was lucky to stay on the lead lap. He's running up there in 5th.
We got another 3 wide back here, Sam. Daniel Jackson is the lead, and Kyle Eli is in the wall, and Judd Danielson hits him as he's going by.
No caution. He spins down on the apron. But Kyle Eli's car's been indestructible tonight, so let's see if he can keep going.
We're going to keep green, Sam. Here's the replay. Eli going to get, is he going to get loose off, or is he going to get a little bit of help here? I think he's going to get a little bit of a hip check, and he does. Unfortunate as it may seem, that's going to put him back down on the pit lane for repair. We stay green. Gary Sexton at the front of this field, Sam.
Looks like the cat finally got run over at 7-11. Kyle Eli has used up all of his 9 lives. And as you mentioned, coming into the pits for repairs. Although we'll see if he gets a lucky dog later on. Maybe get back up there. Currently sitting in the lucky dog position is Josh Bonwell.
Seaman fighting with Ray. Ray's starting to look a little racy back here in his Ford Mustang. Side by side with Scott Seaman trying to take that 3rd spot away. Ray has been sitting in 4th spot most of this race, Sam.
An update on Eli. He has now parked it for the night. Yeah, Scott Seaman, we mentioned he did a great job at holding on to the lead for most of stage 2, but in the long run fell off a little bit. He finished that 2nd stage back in 6th position. Right now running in 3rd. Let's see if he can do a bit better this round at keeping these tyres under him.
Well, Sam? Go ahead, Sam.
Good battle going on for 5th place here. Gabe Wood trying to make his way back up through the field after pitting for extensive repairs under the stage 2 ending caution. Remember, he was involved in the bringing out of the 4th caution of the race, I believe it was the big one.
Sam, Wood finally getting by Clewell right there. Those two having a bit of a tussle. Don't give up on Clewell. I guess we know that now. He could be in this race again here with 5 to go without us even knowing about it. That was a real sneak attack by him there at the end of that 2nd stage. And who knows, maybe there is a win in the unsponsored number 65 Toyota.
Clewell, as we mentioned at the top of the show, one of the highest drivers in the regular season points, but without a win. Scott Seaman just got a bit of a wall coming off of turn 4. Marley Ray thought about trying to capitalise on it, but didn't. Things have calmed down a little bit here right now, Sean, and maybe this is what the drivers who pitted halfway during the 1st stage for those new tyres, maybe this is what they were counting on. They thought this would happen.
Yeah, maybe so, but you know what? I'm intrigued by this battle in 8th right now, and Galgan is fighting with Jeremy Crandall. Crandall up 13 spots, you know. We could call Crandall a survivor at this point, as he did start in the back of this field, and Well, the 73 having a good one here with Galgan. Galgan on the inside. That car ran up a little bit. They almost got door-to-door. But again, they continue to go here as a pair around Iowa Speedway. Now Galgan with a little bit better run and a small mistake from Crandall. Maybe Crandall try and pull the crossover here going into one. He looks at it. Had to get on the binders there, Sam. You saw that car start to run up the track. He did a good job there by keeping it out of Galgan's fender.
Galgan has already been involved in the wars earlier tonight. Crandall didn't turn the lap during qualifying. He started from dead last, has worked his way up into the top 10 here, which essentially means keeping the car in one piece, keeping it on the lead lap. Meanwhile, things have been getting a little bit dicey up around third place. Scott Seaman missed his marks a couple of laps ago. That kind of bunch of cars up behind him a little bit. Marty Ray now has pressure from behind from Gabe Wood.
Oh man, Galgan and Crandall still going at it. Galgan almost makes contact, or Crandall almost makes contact with Galgan again. Sam, my spidey senses are tingling here with these two. This might not end well as they continue to go at it toe to toe here on Iowa Speedway, back across the line. Look at that. Galgan almost gets a nudge there.
Oh, he was trying to make a high side work. He knows how critical that high line works, so he was trying to keep his nose in there on the front straight, and Crandall almost denied him that. So instead, Galgan says, okay, I'll try down low. As these two fight, you see a car closing in behind them. That's a lap car, though, of John Bonwell. Daniel Jackson, the first of our lead lap cars into the pits. This would get him to the end. Is Jackson gambling on it going green all the way?
Yeah, it'll be close, but it's certainly not a bad time to take the gamble. I don't like having tires, though, at the end of 70. And maybe now he can start to make a little bit of ground on Scott Seaman. Only about a second and a half difference between the two.
See how quickly they're able to eat that gap up. That's obviously something you could try and use pit strategy for, Sean. Try and gain that time in the pits.
Well, Sam, I think what we're going to find out here pretty soon is we're going to have drivers make a decision about that pit stop that we talked about that they're still going to need to get to get this race finished. And right now everybody's sitting at just about 35 laps since the start of this stage. And Sam, we talked earlier about how long this third stage would be. Actually, not so much. They're clicking off the laps pretty well here. It's a good run. And
so
now,
when would you say, Sean, when would you say pitting would be a good idea? I guess if you're going to split it in half, assuming it will go green to the end, pit around lap 150. But if you're thinking there could be a caution, you've got to go as long as you can.
See, Sam, I'm of that opinion, actually. I don't think we're done with the cautions. I think there's a better chance that we're going to see another caution before this race starts again. But I think that's what I'm going to gamble on as a crew chief right now, is that there's going to be another flag. We'll come in when the flag drops. If the flag doesn't drop, then, well, we'll come in when we absolutely need to. Michael Dullard right now up front, the 31 there in second, having trouble hanging onto it. That car is starting to look a little bit evil on him. Scott Seaman not able to do anything with it, though, behind him. Sam, as Clewell starts to get a run again.
All right, and we apologize for any technical difficulties you may have been experiencing. It looks like we're back up and running now. Give you an update on what you missed. We saw Daniel Jackson coming into the pits. That was not a strategy call. It turned out he was retiring from the race, although right now John Theodore looks like he might be the first of our scheduled pitters. Not a whole lot has changed up front in position, except Mark Clewell has been on the move. He got by Gabe Wood, and now he's actually challenging Scott Seaman for 3rd place. Sean and I have been wondering a lot about strategy. Everyone's still going to have to make one more stop before the end of this race. This is a top shelf auto detail in 200, and we're about to enter the closing 50 laps. Mark Clearwell up into 3rd place. A power move really on Scott Seaman. We saw this from him earlier where he was able to make his car work in the long run. Taking 2nd for Michael Della 2 in a race that's been tricky for anyone to make one move. Clearwell just did 2 within the span of a lap. Now he's got 4 seconds of clean air to run down Gary Sexton, the race lead in at number 13.
Seaman trying to kind of mock Clearwell just a little bit, doesn't maybe have enough car to do it with, but they've kept this battle strong here up in the front of the field, and Marty Ray might be catching back onto it, Sam. Initially there he was dropping just a bit. His pace seems to have improved here. He's settled things back down, starting to close on Gabe Wood again.
Yeah, Gabe Wood doesn't seem like he's been able to be as strong as Clearwell was after handing back a bit early on in the stage here. I wonder if Wood is struggling a little bit more with his damage that he collected in that multi-car incident during the 2nd stage.
Going to the pits, there's Gabe Wood.
Yeah. This isn't a bad idea, I don't think, Sean. If he is struggling a little bit for whatever reason right now, it's right about halfway in this final stage. Try and use the undercut, get some fresh rubber. We know Gabe Wood is only here for the win, so try and use this now. However, Gary Sexton and Scott Seaman already responding. They're coming in just 1 lap later.
Such a long trip down this pit road, Sam, at 40 miles an hour. Takes forever to get to your box. We're talking an over 40-second bogey time for pit stops today, and on a 7/8 mile track, that's a long time.
And Wood does indeed get by Scott Seaman, as does John Theodore. Remember, John Theodore pitted before any of these guys. He was the first of our 9 lead lap cars to pit, but look how much his slightly older tires already hurting him.
Yeah, it's really turned him into kind of a sitting duck here, Sam. But I said in the beginning, listen. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
Mark Clearwell into the pits. You were thinking, Sean?
I said in the beginning, just after practicing this track today, I didn't like the way the tires felt after about somewhere between about 10 and 15 laps. And, if that's the difference, then, again, I think you're at a disadvantage. Theodore trying to make a little bit of strategy work, but I don't know in the end if it's going to pay off for him.
Well, the driver's still out there on old tires. They're running 1.5 seconds slower than the drivers on fresh tires right now. Marty Ray is currently our leader, but he's coming in. He wants new tires, and I've got to confess, he was very slow on pit entry there. I have a feeling he lost a fair amount of time back there.
So you have Sexton just behind, looking to make that up and get back around Marty Ray. Ray still trying to get to his box. He's there. He's in.
Yeah, Trey Galgan and Jeremy Crandall are the only 2 up front right now who have yet to pit.
And Sexton, of course, leaves Marty Ray sitting there in the pits. He gets himself back into 3rd. And like you said, Sam, Crandall, Galgan, they're going to need to pit before this race is over. Sexton just got to stay focused here. Sexton is just really, really would like to get a win. Anything with a W attached to it would work for Gary.
I have a feeling that's the case for a lot of drivers out there. Now, of course, we do have to consider how many of these drivers still have an extra set of tyres left if we did get a caution in the dying laps. Not all of them do.
Well, Sexton certainly does. Sexton's got another set. It's nothing but good for him. Looks like Scott Seaman all out of tires.
Yeah, that's what we anticipated earlier. Look at the pack here going on down the back straight with Jeremy Crandall on the old tires. He's got and John Theodore on the oldest tires of the drivers who have made that final stop. They're just getting free trained right now by the drivers on fresh tires such as Mark Clewell and Michael Diller, just going by them. Obviously, Galgan and Crandall are just out here waiting for a yellow.
They're hoping. They are hoping. I see Danny Rogers just peeled off. He's in. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with trying that strategy, Sam, until it doesn't work, right? I mean, so we'll see what they can do.
Well, even then, if it doesn't work, you have the freshest tires for the end of a race.
Dullard back there continuing to pick up spots. He gets by Bonwell. Clewell's going to get by Bonwell. Bonwell starting to drop through the field on those old tires, and these guys with the new ones are just picking them up and knocking them down.
Sexton, Wood, and Seaman have all been able to unlap themselves on their fresher tires, so that's bad news for Galgan and Crandall. They'll probably drop behind them if the caution flew right now. Well, mind you, Sexton, Wood, and Sexton and Wood definitely have one set of tyres left, I believe they both do, so they'd be in to take those.
Now, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure about Jeremy Crandall. I don't know what he has in the way of tires right now, to be honest with you, Sam. He's made 5 stops. Now, his last stop was a very short stop. It was only 4.9 seconds, so I don't know. I don't exactly know what the skinny is on his tire situation right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, 4.9 seconds almost sounds like just topping the car off with fuel at some point, or maybe even a 2-tire call, because you're not limited on the sets of tires, you're limited on the number of tires.
Correct.
There's nothing to say you can't do right side tires every single stop.
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest here at this track. You need that left. You at least need that left front. You got to be able to turn here, and you chew up that left front tire. It may not turn quite as well.
Still a long ways to go for all this to pan out. Trey Galgan comes in.
Dullard out here struggling just a little bit in front of Clewell. Just saw him get up into the wall, put a little more damage on the car. Now here comes Clewell to make the move and complete the pass. He's going to try it here on the backstretch, going into 3. Clewell's got the spot down low. Again, Dullard having trouble on that top side of the track. Get it right up next to the wall. Almost touches it again. Able to power past, though, and hang on to the spot. Galgan's going to keep dropping here as he's in the pit still. Dullard, Clewell up to 5th and 6th, respectively.
Yeah, Galgan pitting moves Jeremy Crandall up into the top position, but of course that may still not work out for him. The big concern for Galgan is he might actually go a lap down, considering how long he was out there on those older tyres. And indeed, Galgan is a lap down, but now he has fresher tyres and the leaders, he might be able to unlap himself. Josh Bonwell into the pits again. believe he had already made his final scheduled stops, so maybe something else going on here for the driver of number 56.
Sam, Gary Sexton closing on Jeremy Crandall really, really quick up here. Sexton getting a monster run as he continues to just pick it up and pick it up and pick it up. And now it's down to 1.3, and it's going to be 1 second here in a moment. Nothing Crandall could do at this point but take it in the pit.
Well, Crandall's got to be wondering, Sean, if a caution were to fly right now, that all of the drivers battling on the newer tyres behind him, that they'd want to come in if they did have another set of tyres and put those on for the last 30 laps. So Crandall's race isn't over yet, Sean. He may have just lost the lead to Sexton, but if a caution comes out, he could still be in a good position.
Could be. And you know what? That's the gamble we keep talking about, Sam. I said earlier I didn't think we were done with cautions. Now with 30 laps to go, I still think it's very, very possible that we see that happen. Clewell got the pass on Dullard, so those two continue to go at it. That's been a common occurrence here this evening. Clewell, though, not surprising anybody with pace. He's starting to turn it on here with 30 to go, or just under 30 to go now.
Again, right up on the back of Bonwell there. Bonwell running 2 laps down, though, and should be able to pull away from them, actually, considering he just pitted for new tyres. So Gary Sexton is our race leader running 23.5s. Crandall's in second place running 24s, but still has to pit. Gabe Wood running in third is also running 23.5s. Gabe Wood has had the pace all along to get back up front. Now he's had that damage repaired. He's just very far back of Gary Sexton. 3.5 seconds to be exact, and that's Trey. Oh, 3 wide there temporarily. Trey Galgan on those fresher tyres trying to unmap himself.
Crandall slips to third there. You just saw on the camera. Again, still not we're still saying not the worst strategy in the world. He's still in this thing here. Seaman is closing, though. Seaman completed 26 laps on this stint. You know, again, I think we're at a point where maybe things start to balance themselves out a little bit, but honestly, Crandall's been on the track so long at this point that I do feel like that is a disadvantage for him here. He's going to probably continue to back up to the field. And Seaman is next, and then it's Mark Clewell, just under 2.5 seconds back. But we could still get a caution. Let's see who's close here on track, Sam. Are there any? Well, you know what? In fact, John Theodore side by side here right now with Danny Rogers. Rogers getting by, but Crandall is giving up the ghost. Here he comes, Sam.
Yeah, should be running on fumes by this point, knowing what we do about the fuel load. So Jeremy Crandall's strategy is not going to work out. He will have newer tyres than everyone else on track for the final moments of this race, but he's easily going to lose a lap and a bit while he's sitting here in the pits getting these last set of tyres. See, Galgan's close to getting his lap back here, Sean, but I mean, you know, it's still a gamble that probably cost him a bit more than he would have liked.
Yeah, that definitely cost him more than he liked. But again, I talked about how incredibly long and how much time is wasted down there in that pit lane. Poor Crandall, that was a 43.5 stop there, flag to flag. That's not any fun to sit there for. Sam, it's equivalent to almost 3 laps to your competitors. So for what it's worth, that's, you know, it just, I don't know that there was much he could have done other than just make the very best stop possible. 3 wide again here.
Crandall actually came out on the tail end of being 1 lap down. He was almost 2 laps down, but now we'll start to pull away from the leader. Battle going on for 3rd place here. Mark Clewell and Scott Seaman in the wall. They'll make it a bit easier for Clewell. Or maybe not. Seaman holding strong up high. But we've seen this throughout the race. Seaman has been a driver who's done a bit better on the short runs. Clewell has been a bit better on the long runs. And sure enough, the number 65 going to get the pass complete and probably start and pull away. Galgan just disposed of John Theodore for 7th position. He is now in the lucky dog position if we got a late caution.
Galgan's not had an easy race, man. Not had an easy race. Car shows it's been through the wars, but Galgan's still looking at a top 10 finish here tonight. He's been solid enough here to stay in this race. He did start 9th, so still looking positive.
Yeah, John Theodore is really going to be the one who's going to start struggling now. He basically kicked off our last round of stops. He is virtually the slowest car on track right now, even though he's running in 8th place, almost a lap ahead of the car behind him, Jeremy Crandall. Crandall on those super fresh tyres may easily be able to run down and dispose of Theodore for that 8th position by the end of this.
Coming up on Wood and Clewell here. Clewell still closing. Sam, last lap he was better by about 3/10. Still faster, not as fast this lap, but still faster. Still closing. We gotta see Clewell at the front here before this is over. 15 laps to go. I gotta tell you, with that run he made there at the end of the 2nd stage, I'm starting to believe anything is possible for Mark Clewell.
Yeah, but using mathematics and intervals, it looks like 2nd place is definitely possible for Mark Clewell. I'm not so sure about him running down the leader, Gary Sexton, for the win, because we are starting to run out of laps. If this goes green to the end, Sean, this race will be over in a few minutes with Gary Sexton taking his first win of the season. If it doesn't go green until the end, then that changes everything anyway. Right behind our race leader, Gary Sexton, you see Josh Bromwell going back to being just 1 lap down.
Sam, looking at the time right now, at this rate, Clewell could catch Wood right at the end. I mean, like the last lap. He might need a half of a lap more. It's going to be a very, very close finish here.
Well, hold on. A lot of it could depend on how easily they get by John Theodore, the driver in 8th place on old tyres there. Bulkin Gabe Wood a little bit. Let's see if Clewell gets held up too.
Theodore still got a little bit of grunt left in that machine. Boy, he powered off the exit there. It could be difficult for Clewell to catch him. Boy, I'll tell you what, though, that did not help Gabe Wood trying to get around Theodore, though. Boy, Clewell continues to close the gap. But look at that. Theodore, it's like the Red Sea's parted. See, Theodore just gets out of the way.
Yeah, Clewell definitely benefited a heck of a lot more there. In fact, he basically halved the gap that had been separating himself from Wood. Meanwhile, Michael Dillard could probably catch Seaman for fourth by the end of this, so we'll keep half an eye on that.
Yeah, I don't think Gary's got much to worry about at this point. This is the real race. Clewell gets inside of that left rear quarter panel as they head down the backstretch here and into 3. Oh, man, Clewell taking it away like candy from a baby. Going to pinch Gabe up there into the wall. Gabe keeps it off across the line, though the position does belong to Clewell. Wood going to continue to fight from the outside position. Man,
Wood knows this is one fight he's got left in this race, so he's going to put up as much of a struggle as he could, but in the end, Sean, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, man, Clewell's been impressive tonight. I hate to stutter and stumble there, but man, he has really, really impressed me in this race. And yeah, like you said, maybe going to come up a little late of a win tonight, but a podium still going to look good compared to where he started in this thing tonight. Stayed out of most of the trouble.
Yeah, well, let's not overlook the fact that this is going to be a huge win for Gary Sexton. He doesn't run for points in this series, even though he runs this division. It's like a real world NASCAR's top 3 Premier Series, where you can only run for points in one division. Sexton has opted not to do that in the AdPro 360 Challenger Series, but he has chosen to run most, if not all, of the races here this season. Hasn't been able to pull off a W yet. He's been a regular top 10, if not even a top 5 contender at times, but really came here impressive tonight. He qualified second on the outside of our pole sitter Gerald Campbell, and when the race really turned on its head about lap 65, with a multi-car incident down the back straight taking out many top contenders, Gary Sexton has capitalized. He's used a bit of strategy, a bit of aggressive driving. Just a really good race he has put together for himself here today. And as the number 13 car comes across the line, there's just 2 laps left to go, essentially 1.5 miles by this point, separating him from his first win of the season. Now, let's not give it to him yet. Remember, the series does green-white checkered, so he's still got to come out of turn 3 and 4 here. He'll be hoping for that white flag so that he knows he just has to hit turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 one more time. And as long as he does that in the next 30 seconds or so, the driver of that number 13 is gonna come home with the victory in his 2015 Toyota Camry. Here comes Gary Sexton, rolling out of turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag is in the air, and Gary Sexton is going to take a win here at Iowa.
Yeah, that's the big one for Gary. Congratulations. We do have a battle, though, for 9th. Crandall, side by side with Theodore. Theodore gets the hip check up into the wall. Crandall's going to get the spot from Theodore to finish 8th. Drop Theodore to 9th. Oh, boy. He may not show up on John Theodore's Christmas list this year. Jeez.
Yeah, Theodore was racing as hard as he could on those old tires to try and salvage a decent finish at the end there. At the end of the night, going to have to set off for 9th place. Well, congratulations, Gary Sexton. We'll be sure to talk to him in just a few moments here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Stay tuned for drive interviews and the full race rundown. Hello and welcome back to Iowa Speedway, where we just witnessed 200 laps of racing action. This has been the Top Shelf Auto Detailing 200, sanctioned by the AdPro 360 Challenger Series here. And at the end of the day, our race winner was league organizer Gary Sexton, bringing home his first win of this season. And he was followed 6 seconds later across the line by Mark Cleatwell. Gabe Wood still looking for his first win of the season. Likewise for Mark Cleatwell, actually. Back in third place. Scott Seaman made an interesting strategy call early on. Actually paid out well for him. It didn't. He wasn't able to bring home a win, but still a lot better than where he had been running. Finishes in fourth place ahead of Michael Dillard. Marty Ray was running around fifth all night long. He comes home in sixth ahead of Trey Gelgan, who had a rough night. Could have been a lot worse. He comes home the last car on the lead lap in seventh. Jeremy Crandall, first car lap down in eighth place after starting last. And he just got that position on the final lap from John Theodore, who was struggling on old tyres by the time the race ended. Josh Bonwell rounded up the top 10, the last car one lap down.
All right, and Sam gave you the best. I'll give you the rest. Danny Rogers in his Chevrolet Camaro finishes 11th. Judd Danielson with a tough race today. Judd just had that damage magnet on the car, and he kept finding it in his Toyota Camry. He'll finish 12th. Adam Eisenhower, 13th. Not exactly the race he was expecting, but he did pick up 4 spots to get to 13th, so good on him. Daniel Jackson, it was a rough night for Daniel Jackson. He'll finish 14th. Kyle Ely, Kyle Eli or Ely. Kyle, it was a rough night for him here, making his start here in the SSCA. He'll finish 15th. 16th goes to Joseph Johnson. And 17th, Ken Richardson. 18th, Will Davis. Gerald Campbell with that bad luck earlier on tonight. He'll finish 19th. And Jeff Martin is going to finish 20th. Sam, was our first car out this evening, unfortunately.
Well, let's catch up with our first car across the line. Gary Sexton, I've got to ask, as a league admin, you want to see a clean race, but at the same time, the racer in you must have been smiling a little bit when the race turned on its head on lap 60. You were able to get on through that and race really hard up front and come home with your first win of this Challenger Series season.
Yeah, you know, I hate to see those wrecks. That's not good, especially when they take out a lot of good cars like that. When you win these, you want to beat everybody, not just who's left. But with that said, man, this is my first win in this series, and I won the championship in this series last year without a win, and man, I've just been craving one. It's been a while. It's been almost a year since I've won a race in this league, in the truck series, and now I get one out here in the Challenger Series. I'm just, man, super stoked. Car was really good tonight. I absolutely despise Iowa. It's not at all my favorite track to drive, but for some reason the track likes the way I drive, and I usually run pretty well here, but man, to get a win is, I don't know what to say.
And tyres were definitely a concern at the end there. I mean, if it had been a caution with 20 laps to go, that would have turned everything on its head once again. What was your plan if something had happened in those closing laps?
Yeah, I saw a set of tires left, so I was definitely taking tires. The difference in speed was not worth staying out. If there was, even 5 laps to go, I probably would have took tires. And if the amount of cars that were left on the track, if nobody else took them, I still probably would have won just on fresh tires. But yeah, it was. I was hoping a caution wouldn't come out. It was pretty racy there, as you saw at the end of the second stage. That was probably some of the most fun I've ever had on iRacing, racing with Mark and Mike and Scott and Gabe there, back and forth. I don't know. It felt like 50 laps the whole time, but I'm pretty sure it was only like 20 laps coming to the end of stage 2. But that was some of the most fun I ever had on here. This win is for all the guys in the league in all 3 series, and just being able to race that hard with guys and know that you're not going to wreck. It's awesome, man. This feels good.
Well, we've got 2 races left before the playoffs begin. I know you're not competing for points in this division. Can you talk to us about the decision to make both of those races road courses and what you think we'll see the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I made the schedule with 7 playoff races in mind, and what I did was I wanted us to run every track on the actual Xfinity Series schedule, but only one time. I wanted the guys only to go there once, and it just so happened the way it worked out that the last 2 races of the year ended up being the I think it's Watkins Glen and Mid Ohio. So it's going to be a challenge for these guys. I'd look for Gabe Wood to possibly pick up 2 wins in a row. He's definitely the road course ringer of the group, and so I look for him to probably sneak through and get one of his first wins. I won't be there for Watkins Glen, but I'll probably show up for Mid Ohio. To be honest, I never ran a race there in my life, so I'll have to do some practice. But yeah, I'm just hoping this really gets the momentum swinging in the right direction for our Cup program. That's where I'm competing for points, and I've missed a bunch of races, so I'm kind of lingering there, and I think around 8th or 9th in points in the Cup Series, but not that far ahead of the cut line. So Michigan's not one of my best tracks. I think we go to, I want to say Darlington after that. Run pretty well Darlington, but our Cup Series is just insane. So we have our work cut out for us, but it's good to get a win here tonight.
All right, well, congratulations, Gary. Thanks for putting on some fantastic racing for us, and we look forward to seeing you back at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for the great broadcast. Thanks to my team, CCR, for everything they do. You guys are awesome, and thanks to all the drivers in this league.
All right, that was our race winner, Gary Sexton. Sean, you've called up with Mark Clewell.
I have. Mark, there are so many questions we could ask you this evening. First, I'm going to start with congratulations on a podium finish. Where were you finding the speed in that car, man? Talk to us a little bit, unless you don't want to give away any secrets.
Well, I didn't have speed at the beginning of the run. You notice that at the beginning of the last stage there, the car just wouldn't turn, and after a few laps or so, the car seemed to handle a little better, but for some reason, my driving style lends to tire conservation. So when all these guys burn off their tires, it looks like I'm fast, I'm really fast, but they're just losing more speed than I am.
That's a good way to put it, Mark. I like that. It was a fun race, and we hit a spot of attrition during the race. But man, that third and final stage, were you expecting that, or were you expecting a caution there somewhere along the way?
I was kind of expecting it to go green like that because of the attrition, and it seemed like it was, from my seat, fairly easy to drive. The car wasn't loose at all, so as long as you take care of the tires, you can. I didn't really expect anybody to have any problems, but I keep getting beat, I think, on pit strategy too. If I would have short pitted like they did, instead of pitting after the few leaders pitted, I might have had a better shot at them. Because I was the fastest car on the longer runs, I think.
Oh, by far and away, you were the faster car on the longer runs. That's a fact. Mark, fast runs, good results. Do they equal sponsorship? Have you got anybody banging down the door? Do we need to start a viral campaign that gets a sponsor on a number 65?
Well, I don't know. If somebody wants to sponsor me, that's fine. I keep having these top 10 finishes. I think I got the most top 10 so far in the series. But if somebody calls, I'll talk.
All right. Hey, race fans, potential sponsors watching this race, this dude is bad fast. He's got a great chance at maybe taking a championship home this season. Don't let this car go unsponsored for the rest of the season. Get a hold of Mark Clewell. Mark, hey, thanks a lot, man. Again, congratulations. So happy to talk to you. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick?
Yeah, as usual, team agents, those guys are pretty awesome, fun to race with. And again, Gary for the league and you guys for the broadcast. And it's a lot of fun. And I think Gabe and I are going to have a shootout for a win here pretty soon. And we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Hopefully the lack of playoff points don't hurt us.
No, they don't. And Mark, we'll look forward to seeing you again here in a couple of weeks, and enjoy the downtime, and be safe, my friend.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Sam, that's Mark Clewell, and now you have caught up with Gabe Wood, who had a pretty good race himself.
Yeah, Gabe Wood did have a pretty good race, but it seems we've said that a lot this season, Gabe. However, there was that one moment during the middle of second stage where you were involved in the big incident down there on the back straight. How much damage did that do to your car?
All right, let's get this interview over with. You guys are eating into my beer drinking time.
That was perfect, Gabe. That was perfect. Nice segue, Gabe.
It's a Mountain Dew. Don't worry. Well, not that much, actually. I only had a couple seconds of damage. It really hurt my confidence, really, because we were coming up through the field, and I was the first guy of the really fast guys. You know, we had Seaman and Richardson in front of us, and I got to the outside of him. I was trying to pull the same move that I pulled on Gary at the end of stage 2, and Richardson just bobbled just a little bit, and it was enough for him to hook off my front bumper. So that really sucked. I hate that Gerald got caught up in that, because me, him, and Cluwell are racing pretty hard for the points. So that's kind of a hurt to his regular season title hopes. He's set for the chase. I don't really care about that, but if he wants to go after these 15 bonus points, I know he said he wanted to last week.
Yeah, the sad thing about it is the fact that you were involved in that wreck, but your other competitors were involved bigger is, going to help you running for those regular points. Now, we were just talking to Gary Sexton, and he said you're the road course winner of the group. And I feel like I've asked you this 15 times already this season. Do you think you can finally get the W at one of these two road courses heading into the playoffs?
Do you want my honest answer? Do you want the energetic answer? Or do you want the crippling depression answer?
Yes.
I seriously think I got a shot at the road courses. I thought I had a shot here, but I ended up screwing myself with speeding on pit road. I was checking for my pit stall and went 41.112 miles an hour, and iRacing tagged me with the ticket. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, I think I got a really good shot at the road courses. I did really well against all the Cup guys and all the SSCA regulars last year in the recruitment race in the trucks at Canadian Tire, and I finished, I think it was like 5th or 4th last week whenever the Cup cars came, and I hate the Cup cars, so that shows I'm pretty good at them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Which one are we going to first? Watkins Glen, I think.
Yes, Watkins Glen and then with Ohio. I'm still waiting for the crippling depression answer, by the way.
I'm never gonna win. I'm just gonna run out of cars.
Well, we hope that's not the case, Gabe. We'll let you go and enjoy your Mountain Dew.
Yeah, you sure it's Mountain Dew, right?
No, he's not. And I'm not convinced it's Mountain Dew either. So go enjoy it, Gabe.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Sean, Soup, Sam, all you guys. God,
boy, man, that was an uncomfortable dismount, Sam.
Let's get one more interview here for you, right. Sean. Another driver who had an eventful race.
Trey, the car looked horrible at the end of that race, but dude, you survived for 7th place. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It was one grueling race. To be honest with you, I have nothing to say about that race. It was just grueling.
How much force feedback do you have dialed into your wheel, and if it's a bunch, or your arms a little tired right now?
After this race, because the car was so tight, my wrists are hurting, literally hurting, because I had like a death grip to the wheel. But other than that, I'm feeling exhausted.
Yeah, I talked about that early in the race. This is a very punishing short track, and those bumps. Just give us your impression of the bumps on this track. What it's like getting around with that type of surface.
Well, with the bumps out here, to be honest with you, the car gets so upset when you hit the bumps You're really, when you hit the bumps, you get so tight. If you hit them right, you can get loose. If you hit them, it's crazy. It's hard to explain. It's just hard.
I know it is.
My
That's all right,
brain's left field right now.
Well, anybody you'd like to thank before we send you over to right field?
I like to thank Cop Hill Public House for sponsoring the race car. And, well, I had no teammates tonight. I would like to thank them, but I'll still thank them anyway. Savage Drive Motorsports. Thank those guys, too, as well.
All right. And that is Trey Galgan. Again, a good finish for him as he finishes the race. And sometimes that's more important than anything, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, especially when over half a field, it seemed like weren't able to say that by the end of this. Well, we got 2 road courses coming up, Sean. A critical time heading into the playoffs. Maybe not necessarily to see who makes the playoffs because the field's looking pretty much set, but see who has momentum when the playoffs finally begin.
Momentum, very, very important heading into the playoffs. I mean, if you want to win a championship, now is the time to start making things happen, like Mark Cleawell did this evening by finishing in second place and getting himself a stage win. So, Sam, exciting race, plenty of exciting races to come. I'm going to make an announcement. We have not mentioned it during this broadcast, but when we see you next time with the SSCA, it will be with the Dirty Air Studios Truck Series. We are going to be broadcasting the last 9 races of the SSCA Truck Series races. And Sam, I am super excited about that. I don't know who we're going to have on those broadcasts yet, but we're working on a team right now, and we are going to be ready to go when they hit the high banks of Michigan Speedway in just a couple of weeks.
So we hope you guys all tune in for that. We hope you also tune in to this series' next race, which will be Wednesday at Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time. We would like to thank all of the organisers and the competitors of the Simulated Stock Car Association and the AdPro 360 Challenger Series for coming out here tonight and putting on a fantastic show. AdPro 360 is an advertising agency that specialises in digital and social media marketing. For more information, go to adproresults.com. We would also like to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts. There you can see them all listed on your screen. Additional thanks goes out to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, who provide us with our great music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Joe and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. All of the upcoming races for our other series are listed on screen, so check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you